are done, so I'm going to die. I'm going to have some fun.
Alright, sweethearts, listen up. It's time for me to share some stories I overheard from the war that will transform anything you might have imagined about. They are not just tall tales, even though you might think that they are. Rumors are rampant, especially in war, and mine had plenty of them. These, if they never occurred, are the strangest and most incredible rumors of them all. Although, I must say that the more you hear of these stories from the front in the dreadful years of the war, they begin to sound less and less like mere rumors. These tales are explained in much greater detail in that memoir, Maps of the Brink, but here are just a few highlights of that harrowing yet illuminating document of the Great War. This book was written by Ben Salerno himself. I know we talked about it because it was such a great war, but in some ways it was something that none of us would have had any other way despite the sorrows. It is, after all, our greatest pain that shows us the greatest cheer and fun.
My days are done, so I'm going to die. I'm going to have some fun.
What's your name? I'm not sure I can help you, sir.
Salerno. Benjamin Salerno. I go by Ben.
No, sorry, sir. No Salerno on file. What do you want?
I'm a photographer. I'm supposed to report for the new camera unit of the Signal Corps.
On whose authority?
I received this.
So what is this supposed to mean to me?
I'm here because of that. It's my official notice for duty, sir.
Sir, don't toy. You don't want to be insubordinate.
You can't decide if I'm in or out, and you're already trying to court-martial me.
Why are you here, sir? What do you need? There's a war, and we have some very important business to attend to that can't be spoiled by the likes of you.
Right, because if my situation isn't spoiled enough, I'll become too spoiled.
Could you please tell me what your situation is, sir?
I'm trying to explain. I'm in the Signal Corps.
So you were drafted?
Yes. Yes, I was.
Fine. Well, first of all, you'll have to sign this to prove that you got the notice. You're in luck. The last one.
Huh? Am I getting this? You need me to...
Sign this.
Oh, I see. Now that everything is perfectly incomprehensible, you can do your job properly. Things are only working correctly when they're cloaked in confusion. Am I right or am I right?
Sir, I don't catch your drift. Was that an insult?
Oh, no. I don't blame you. I blame the heads. You have one line. But I'd have to say that bureaucracy is the greatest script. The red tape everything wears is the finest kind, isn't it? You see, you're absolutely not to blame. For you, everything is going just as planned. But there's something else behind the armed forces that's just...
A force to be reckoned with?
Yes. Yes, if that's what you want to call it.
Now, could you just sign this and then you could be on your way?
Sir, yes, sir.
Now, could I see your notice as a confirmation that you signed the confirmation, and then sign this to confirm that the confirmation was confirmed?
What have I got to lose?
The train for the camp will be here at 0600 tomorrow. Be ready.
I will. I'm sure I will. I have nothing to object to but my objections.
You better make your will. The doctor said, please tell me.
Every story has a nemesis, and for Ben Salerno, that was Reginald Smythe. Smythe was the officer with ambitions greater than himself that tormented the lives of the photographers at the training camp. He made their lives problematic, so his would not be. All was well until Ben and his best friend Rich found themselves at the front, with Smythe along also.
Doctor said my days are done, so I'm going to die. I'm going to have some fun.
You know, Ben, I always wanted to see France. Didn't know I'd see it like this.
Just one of the many things life is throwing at us now.
I hope you like all the paradoxes.
How ironic.
And now we're settled in like we never left.
Walking in like you own the place.
Master of all he surveys.
My kingdom for a crown. Or my crown for a kingdom.
What are you up to, Salerno?
Taking photos of you. Up here. Smile. Come on, Smythe. You can do much better than that. I know you want to.
Salerno, you never stop, do you?
No, I don't, Smythe.
Cease and desist.
Well, wonders never cease. Now do they, Smythe? I say, Sergeant Reginald Smythe, you really are quite photogenic.
Now just what do you think you're doing?
Doing portraits of all the men in their natural habitats. Candid moments for the public. It's out for the common man and their sense. When the war is over, I might publish a field guide. A sort of who's who from the French front.
And why is that?
Is it not my job? I thought you want to get the truth of the matter.
That's besides the point. We don't want the truth. We just want everyone back home to know what's going on.
Which would work very nicely as the truth. Now wouldn't it,
Oh,
Smythe?
certainly not. We want everyone to see whatever we want them to see, thus making the truth for ourselves.
You wouldn't know a thing about the facts about what we're going through if it came out to your nose.
Now, just what did you specialize in as a civilian photographer?
Portraits, actually.
Sat right straight up in bed. He raised his head and to the doctor said, I'm gonna get right up and...
Oh, yes, some things cannot be summarized with one broad stroke, and that is exactly how it was with Ben Salerno when it came to Allison Anderson, an actress he had seen when she was at the height of her career, and he was very young. The men at the training camp went to see a play starring her, and he had not heard her name in a long time. He was caught off guard after he began to read some newspaper clippings of her riding, as well as interviews with her from across her career from her younger days to the present. There, he found a woman as similar to him as much as she had a unique personality unlike anyone else. Mind you of anyone else? He also saw that she was different from other actresses. She was not flashy or showy like them. She had a clean slate and no scandals to her name. And she also refrained from being outspoken about the popular ideas many performers at the time had that were wrong. After a long and difficult struggle fighting to get to meet her, he finally did, and they spoke a few times. The larger war was waged against a private one, as he was conflicted about his affection and fondness for a woman it would require a seismic shift to be with. He accepted that there was no possibility for her to be his, although he knew in the back of his mind that she would always have a place in his heart, and he would never see in anyone else quite what he saw in her.
Doctor said my days are done, so I'm going to die, I'm gonna have some fun.
Hello, Ben. Small wonder seeing you here again.
I could say the same about yourself.
Turns out soldiers enjoy comedy. The big names are invited here to perform.
So was I. That's actually what I'm doing here.
Is that so? You're one of the big names, are you?
Of course. You don't recognize me.
No, I don't.
Just as well. I'm trying to not be noticed. That's why I ran away to the front. I'm a marked man.
Sounds like you were roped into it, more likely.
Can you still see it around my neck?
A little bit, yeah.
Everyone loves a little gallows humor.
By the way, what is your role? In the army?
I'm a photographer. In the Signal Corps.
Oh, that sounds like not too bad of a role.
It's not. The army roles they feed us notwithstanding.
Taking cues, I see.
Not particularly.
So is your job a new development?
Yeah, it is. We're a special branch of the Signal Corps. We don't quite know why we're doing what we're doing yet.
But at least you're behind a camera and not a gun.
Exactly.
Do you want to go somewhere else?
What's that?
We should take a walk.
Ah, yes. Avoid all our rabid devotees.
There. Far from the maddening crowd.
Not too far, but far enough.
Slightly further than the maddening crowd?
By Thomas Hardy and Allison Anderson.
Wouldn't that be something?
Well, at least you know the importance of being earnest.
By Oscar Wilde and Allison Anderson.
Now that's a thought.
That's every scriptwriter's dream, to write like Wilde.
Well, I think your scripts are better than Wilde.
Well, thank you.
Provided you're not hiding something.
Oh yes, didn't you know I have a painting that keeps me going?
No, now I'm intrigued.
The picture of Allison Anderson is the secret to all of this longevity.
Oh, I see.
Doctor quick came to hold a consultation day. Says
The wit of Smythe met their match in that of Ben. As the time dragged on, it was clear that some of the greatest things to be learned about the war was through Ben's nemesis. He learned exactly what it was that people like Smythe believed, and he also learned exactly what made people like Smythe squirm like a little worm. This he used to his advantage to fight the war of words, which was a far different war to wage than the one of weapons that Ben refused to participate in.
doctor said my days are done, so I'm going to die, I'm gonna have some fun.
Just what do you think you're cooking up now, Salerno?
Just this wonderful canned Willy, Smythe.
Of course, you've seen it before, haven't you, Smythe?
Yes, Doyle, I have.
You know, I have a philosophy about canned Willy. I think there's something dependable about it.
It's taste.
It's stench.
It's delightful squelch when you take a bite.
See what I mean?
I don't think I ever will, Salerno.
Just try, Smythe. See if you can see the war from our perspective for once.
You really have it coming, Salerno. You'll be in for a court-martial one of these days.
I'm sure you'd love to make that happen, Smythe.
You show him, Smythe.
Yeah, you show me, Smythe.
You know, I come from a long line of intelligent, competent officers.
Intelligent, maybe, but that's exactly what makes them incompetent. They know how to use the system to their advantage.
They and I have used the system as it's meant to be used.
See what I mean? You see what he's like?
I see what he's like.
How exactly do they use the system, Smythe?
To help them get up the ranks and see the war from the top.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. To see the war from the top. Thank you, Reginald Smythe.
I don't see what's so amusing, Salerno. You think everything is amusing.
Only when it is. Want to do a comedy routine when we get back, Smythe?
I'm sure he'd find that to his liking.
Only to the degree that it's not amusing.
There is no time for amusement in this man's army.
Just this man's.
Or the man that comes from a long line of intelligent, competent officers.
No, not that man.
Not that man.
I've seen it all, Smythe, and you're not surprising me anymore.
Surprisingly,
Just what do you think you're playing at?
Playing with you.
he thinks he can take you down by jokes.
And why is that?
Because I know I can.
He knows that the most important thing certain folks hate is humor, so he uses it to his advantage. On you.
And you are too?
Only because we see through you, Smythe, and we know you're not up to any good.
More than you?
Now, hold on, Smythe. We're not interested in conquering the world here. Or whatever it is you're interested in.
Well, whatever I'm interested in, it's much more vital to the security and preservation of this country than your wits.
Our wits just scare him witless.
I know.
Let's see what he knows, shall we?
No funny business, Salerno.
Well, we just established that that's exactly what we are. In the funny business.
You know, you'll get it.
You'll get it.
He got it.
The next day, Jim was a feeling mighty fine. 3 weeks later.
There are those that are friends, those that are foes, and those who one can never tell which side they lie on. The other officer that was along at the front was Colonel Gaff, a man that caused more confusion and bewilderment than difficult and trouble, just like my Uncle Sam. Ben Salerno could never tell whether Gaff wanted to help him or hurt him. It became almost a game in the war to determine Gaff's motives. Sometimes this was losing battle, but some battles are at least more amusing to fight than others. There are much worse ways to occupy one's time, and much worse weapons to wield than jokes.
Jackson said my days are done, so I'm going to die, I'm gonna have some fun.
Men, I am pleased to announce that all of you are to my satisfaction. As you have the privilege of being in a photography unit, I am proud to announce that nothing I have seen is to my liking. I mean, everything was satisfactory.
I never could have guessed we'd give him the satisfaction.
Seems good enough to me.
Good enough is not what we're looking for. We desire more than I have seen and more than we would ever let you know. But I will be suspending my judgment on your unit because we only expect something that is good enough.
I think his reasoning is playing Ring Around the Rosie. Do I sense wits that have been lost?
I think you made a fine decision, sir. We know nothing but our duty. I am proud to say that what that duty exactly is was completely neglected to have been mentioned in training.
I wholeheartedly agree. You know what you're about, which is why I'm making sure to have all laughter and jocularity banned from this photography unit.
Oh, he's lost his wits and his wit.
Until the remainder of the war?
Until the remainder of the war. I'm afraid to say that this wounds me to say it, and it bothers me much more than it bothers you. I, for one, love fun and wit most out of anyone in the army, but I must say there is no room for it here.
Oh, I understand. We will no longer find anything humorous.
Including the request to not find anything humorous? Because I find it extremely humorous.
Oh, no, sir, we don't. That is the least funny demand the Army makes on us of all.
We must do without question whatever we are requested.
I agree. There is nothing amusing whatsoever in these orders.
Our jokes will form an orderly queue.
Well, Line them right up. They weren't missing from roll call, were they?
Yes, they were. But they won't be now. Right in line with the rest of us.
They got us through training camp. Our secret weapon no one else saw.
Well, hold the line, boys. That's what we must do. Hold the line.
We will, sir. We will.
Says, Doctor, you're a scab, for his hat he made a grab. He ran outdoors.
Ben Salerno encountered more of the difficulties that come from being part of a system. The glory and grandeur of systems is that they are in place to make sure that nothing gets done that most needs to get done. This is what he learned early on when, due to some grand mistake and mix-up of files, he was listed as someone that may or may not exist while he was taken completely out of the Signal Corps roster and listed apparently non-existent himself. This was perfectly normal for the abnormality that was the only thing that was acceptable. Here, wrong ideas and bad logic was the better part of courage and duty. He wondered if he had to get used to a new life or not, being present while being quite present until there were many people that were suggested to him that could fix his situation. He was pleased to find that, due to this, he could even expect that the war would be over soon.
My days are done, so I'm going to die. I'm going to have some fun.
Hey, bud. You think you can help me again?
Again? What is it this time, Salerno?
I need you to even out this ridiculous mix-up. Take a look at these. Those are my photographs, but look at the attribution.
Ted Winters? What on earth is that?
That's the point. I have no living clue. Maybe you know who I could talk to?
Maybe I can try Captain Hayes again. Let me get on the field phone.
Hello, how may I help you?
I need to speak with a Captain Hayes.
I'm so sorry, but he's not in.
Are you sure he's not in?
Perfectly sure, sir. He's at an officers' conference right now.
Hayes isn't in.
Is he truly not in, or is he just pretending to not be in until he knows what I want?
No, he genuinely is not in. But I can see who else I can get. Miss, can you put someone who can help me on the line?
What is it that you need?
She wants to know what you need.
Tell her there's a huge mistake, and this article published my photographs, but not under my name. Something got mixed up, and the photographs are under the name of Ted Winters.
There's been a bit of a dilemma. Our photographer's photos have been published under someone else's name.
Sir, what is the name they're listed under?
Ted Winters.
What unit are you with?
The 2020th.
No, I'm sorry, sir. Ted Winters is the photographer for that unit. I'm afraid that's correct. Who's claiming to be the right photographer?
Ben Salerno.
And how do you know this?
Because he's right here with me right now.
You got any proof?
Yes, I do. I think you should talk to this gal.
Alright. Why am I always the one to fix these things? Ben Salerno cleans up the mess.
He's here because I'm putting him on the phone right now.
Hello?
Who's this?
Ben Salerno.
Are you sure you're who you say you are?
Of course. Who else could I be?
An imposter? Someone posing as Ben Salerno to cause trouble.
I am him. I'm in the Signal Corps. My photos were published under someone else's name.
Under what name?
Ted Winters?
Let me see. Sir, there is no photographer in our records named Ben Salerno. Who are you? And if you are this alleged Ben Salerno, are you sure you are him?
I'm not alleged. And yes, I am him.
I'm not so certain. You're masquerading as him. What is it that you want?
Apparently, I am not on the roster of the Signal Corps photographers as the photographer for the 2020th.
And who is the photographer for the 2020th?
Ben Salerno.
And who am I talking to?
Me? I am Ben Salerno.
You are not, sir. I can't help you, sir.
This is urgent. I am Ben Salerno, and apparently to the Army I don't exist.
I'm afraid you don't, sir. I'm not even sure how you're talking to me.
Well, I open my mouth from the words in the vocal cords.
Sir, don't waste our time.
Well, I don't know a thing about waste except that haste makes it. So we're not in danger of that, are we?
Could you please cut to the chase?
I'm putting you back on the line, bud.
I'm afraid he's telling the truth, miss.
I'm not the one that can help you, mister. But I can put you in touch with someone who can.
And who was that?
Corporal Bluestocking. He's in charge of the underground French pastry group. They're smuggling out pastries for the men. Need some pastry?
She says she can't help. But there's someone who can. Need some pastry?
Huh? No, I don't. How's that gonna help?
All right. No, miss, he doesn't need any pastry.
Well, on second thoughts, maybe you can't help. But I know a guy.
She said she knows a guy.
I can put you in touch with the grave diggers. They know where all the bodies are buried.
They do? That's excellent. She said she could put us in touch with the grave diggers.
What? Why would I want to talk to them?
She said they know where all the bodies are buried.
Oh, ha ha. Of course they do. I guess they know all the skeletons in the closet too.
Of course they do. Goes without saying.
It goes with saying what hasn't been said. Which is what I'm saying right now.
This gal's really trying to help here. Maybe we're onto something.
You want to know about where the bodies are buried? She's right. The graves registration unit does have an idea. And it's no joke. We're here lingering over my identity while the men out there are taking the fall. Their only idea of fun is running us through this gauntlet while the men have another gauntlet to avoid. There's a cost to this war that's demanding something absolutely priceless. Life.
Maybe that's why she thinks they can.
Maybe she thinks that's the way to avoid the whole premise of the story. A story the red tape wants to write while ordinary guys like us are rewriting it. We're pieces in a game to some people, bud. Well, this isn't a game.
Fine. I'll never understand it. But if that's how you want it. I don't think he wants to get in touch with them, miss.
Well, would you like to get in touch with the latrine diggers? Does anyone need a latrine dug?
At last we have daylight. Maybe that's just what he needs. Do you need a latrine dug?
Put your daylight where the sun don't shine. No, bud, I don't need a latrine. Is that really the best they can do? Probably, because no one seems to know my real business here.
I'm sorry, ma'am. He does not.
All right. Does he need anything mechanical fixed? I have a direct line to the engineers. They get things done.
Need anything repaired? She said the engineers really get things done.
No, I don't even have anything like that. I'm not an officer.
I'm afraid he doesn't need that either. He said he's not an officer.
Oh, he is not.
I'm afraid he's just a photographer, ma'am.
Then why didn't you say so?
He's been trying to, ma'am.
Well, I think that's all I can do for you, sir. It sounds like your situation's quite complicated.
It is, but maybe you could uncomplicate it.
I'm not sure.
There's photos on the line, miss. We have to make it snappy.
It's a bit of a shot in the dark, but perhaps I can see what I can do.
She's seeing what she can do.
Oh, good.
Are you sure you don't need any pastries or anything fixed? Because I think I do.
Oh, just forget it.
From everybody on the staff, I'm gonna eat and drink and drive and laugh. Doctor says my days are done, so I'm going to die, I'm gonna have some fun.